Hi, I'm Jeanie, and welcome back to some more story time. This is going to be fun today. In fact, I had a plan. You know what a s'more is, don't you? We've been talking about s'mores a lot. Well, this is a roasting stick that I had when I was a little kid. And over our fire here, I was going to roast a marshmallow. But it dawned on me that we can't have fires right now because we don't want to start any big forest fires. So we're not going to roast a marshmallow, but it looks pretty good, doesn't it? And you know how to make s'mores, don't you? You get a graham cracker and a Hershey bar and a marshmallow, and you melt the marshmallow and it makes what we call a s'more. Well, today I have a special book, and this book is called Marshall Mellow. Does that kind of sound like marshmallow to you? Well, it is about Marshall Mellow, and he is a marshmallow who discovers kindness in the world while finding his way home. So I thought this would be a fun book to read for some more story time. Good morning, family. Good morning, friends. Good morning, beautiful self. Marshall Mellow was a mellow fellow who lived in a quiet neighborhood. Everyone knew everyone in Marshall's small, familiar world. Marshall had heard horror stories of sticky fingers, sharp sticks, fires, and all the other bad things that happen out there over the edge of the shelf. He had no desire to venture out into the scary world. He was perfectly fine in his cozy, safe home in between the grams and the bars. A day came, however, when Marshall's life was squeezed and squashed unlike ever before. For the first time, Marshall was afraid he may have to face the big bad world he had been taught to fear. When the squeezing and the squashing stopped, Marshall and his fluffy, puffy family began to relax and enjoy the calm once again. Everything seemed to be getting back to normal until Marshall Mellow stepped back, lost his balance, and fell and fell and fell. He landed on the floor with a marshmallow-sized thud. Time stopped for a few seconds. Marshall realized he was all alone, and he had no idea how he was going to get back home. And then, wah, wah, Marshall let loose with the loudest marshmallow sobs you've ever heard. He cried and he cried and he cried. When he was all cried out, Marshall wiped away his tears. He looked to his left and he looked to his right. He did not see any familiar faces. Everything was different. "Hey, over here," a raspy voice called to him from the darkness. "Are you done crying, you little softy?" Who are you?" Marshall asked the shriveled guy under the shelf. "I'm Ray. I used to live up there too, but I rolled away, escaped all them shiny grapes. Yep, I need to break free." Ray coughed as he spoke. "Those sour grapes were holding me back." He wanted to see the world. "Look at me now. I'm free. I have a great life down here." Marshall didn't understand why the raisin thought being away from home was a good thing. Marshall wasn't free, he was frightened. He backed slowly away from Ray. Unfortunately, he scooted right into the path of, a shopping cart. Oh no, Marshall held on for dear life as he rolled round and around and around. He looked to his left, he looked to his right. He gasped when he saw some strange creatures smooshed next to him on the wheel. No way, this is not how it's going to end for me. He mustered all of his courage, peeled himself off the wheel, and jumped. For the first time since he had been away from home, Marshall smiled. He had landed next to a jumbo marshmallow. "Hello," he said, still panting from his wild ride. "Greetings, young lad. I am Thomas P. Patterburn II. My friends call me TP. Okay, between you and me, I think TP stands for a roll of toilet paper, not a big marshmallow. I'm Marshall Mellow. My friends call me Marshall." And with the mention of friends, Marshall began to cry again. Through his sniffing, Marshall managed to tell Thomas P. Patterburn II, "I'm scared and I'm lost. I want to go home. I miss my family. I miss my neighbors, the Grahams and Mr. and Mrs. Barr, and I miss my shelf." "Look out!" TP screamed. What happened? Marshall, not so mellow anymore, made the quick decision to hide in plain sight by standing completely in front of TP. "What a clever fellow you are," TP told his new buddy when the danger had passed. TP was a two-ply kind of guy who was willing to help a friend in need. "Let's get you home now. Hop in." As they rolled down the aisle to his neighborhood, Marshall saw his friends and family waving at them. Marshall eagerly waved back. For the first time all day, Marshall laughed and he laughed and he laughed. Ray heard the commotion and came out of the dark to see what was going on. When he realized that Marshall was unable to reach his home, he summoned a crew to help. Chip, the Pretzels, and Mr. Twiz worked with Ray to launch Marshall back up to his shelf. Everyone celebrated Marshall's return. That night, when Marshall was all snuggled in his bed, he looked to his left and he looked to his right. He looked all around the big world. It was a friendlier place than he ever expected it to be. He smiled and he smiled and he smiled. Good night, family. Good night, old friends. Good night, new friends. Marshall Mellow is a fun little guy. And what's really, really fun about this story is that he made new friends out of kindness. And we can all of us, learn in Jesus' path and footsteps to be kind to everyone we meet, because God is the maker of all of us children. And yep, I'm a child of God too, and so are you. So when you go out this week, remember you can show kindness in a couple of ways. By what your words say, and also by your actions. So have a really good time this week. But don't forget Marshall Mellow. And you'll be getting a little bit of marshmallow in your packet. And think of Marshall Mellow when you go to have your snack. Thanks. See you later.